Welcome to our next video. We're so excited to be with you again. And this time we're going to be talking about the attachment communication training in terms of expanding personal growth and deepening healing. In our last video, we talked a bit about the attachment communication training and some of the highlights of learning skills around listening and sharing, as well as how to repair in relationships, how to understand that our past deeply influences our present when we're especially triggered by conflict in what's happening in our relationships. And we looked at some practical skills. And Terry, I know there's some things you wanted to say about that, so I'll let you say hello as well.
Yes, hello, Diane, and hello, everybody. I started using or developing the attachment communication model. Oh, gosh, long time ago, 30 years or so. And I was frustrated as a therapist. I feel like I wasn't helping enough couples change their dance, go from insecure to secure, go from high conflict to learning how to resolve their conflicts in a caring and kind and loving and successful manner. And
this really extends to all adult relationships, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. And so there's basically in the field two approaches to working with couples. One is what's called a therapist-centered approach. So that's a triad. So one member of the couple is telling the therapist about the other one, and the other member of the partner is telling the therapist about the other partner. And the therapist is caught in the middle, the judge, the jury, the mediator, the go-between. And the other approach, which is what we're talking about today, ACT, is what's called an enactment-based approach. You are not the go-between and mediator between these two partners. You are facilitating a process where they're actually learning in real time how to change the way they problem solve, how to improve the way they manage conflict, how to go from argument to connection, from negativity to positivity, from insecure to secure and safe and connected and compassionate. So you're giving them the skills and you're coaching them in real time. And that helps them not only today, but we ask them to practice it when they go home. Every day, a few days a week, whatever it is, because it's a skill that can be learned. It's not that complicated. It's not so difficult. Most people can learn it, and they do, and they come in and they say, I wish I knew that 10 years ago. Would have saved us a lot of grief. Well, you know it today, and you're going to use it tomorrow. They can use it in their adult relationship. They can use it with their children when there's any kind of issues going on. It's a way to communicate and problem solve and effectively manage conflict, which creates confidence and a sense of agency. We can do this. We don't even need the therapist anymore. Thanks, therapist, for helping us. Now we have the skills and we have confidence to resolve problems in a positive way. So it's something that any therapist can learn. It's something that any dyad, like a couple, can learn in your practice. And it's very structured and it's very goal-oriented. It's very solution-oriented. And all I can tell you is it works.
Well, and actually, I'm thinking a lot of us as therapists want this information for ourselves and our own relationships. And I imagine it's really helpful to have this very structured and information, but also showing the demos of how you apply it. That's just golden, because we often don't get to see master therapists in action, and we get to see you. And also that it's very beneficial for inexperienced therapists as well as very experienced therapists.
Oh, yes, any level. I teach it to interns who are not even licensed yet from the University of Colorado, to therapists that are only out in the field for a year or two, to seasoned clinicians that have been out in the field a long, long time, but want to learn a new approach, this enactment-based approach, where you're not in a triad in the middle between two people arguing, but you're contracting with them to learn new skills. And the other part about it that's very, very helpful is that it is experiential. And we know, if you know about the right hemisphere, the limbic brain, that the only way to rewire the traumatized brain is through healthy and helpful healing experiences, where it's not just academic and cognitive. You're sitting around talking about it intellectually, but by doing the ACT, people are having real life experiences, emotional experiences.
It's actually contradictory experiences because they know their original experience and they keep acting out their original experience somewhat implicitly or unconsciously. And now they're having an experience of something that's corrective, that's like a new way of experiencing it and really feeling the difference it makes in their relationship, their adult relationships in real time. And that starts to create a new pathway, a new receptivity. That's how neuroplasticity works, right? So they start to actually embody and have a building capacity to do this. And Terry, I was wondering, I mean, how complex? I know it's a little bit complicated because human beings are complicated, but this is a relatively structured and clear, and I would say easier to learn and integrate with practice. Everything takes practice. But I think it's very accessible for therapists to learn it and also for their clients to learn it and benefit from it.
Yes, it is. You're so right about that, Diane. We have a handout that we give the couples or the parent-child dyad, who's ever doing the communication. And this same handout we use to help therapists learn how to do this with their clients. And it's very structured. It's very goal-oriented. It's very solution-oriented. And it's steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how to do this. And we've been, of course, refining it over many, many years. So we kind of have it down to a science. And it's very learnable.
One of the things I've learned being so maniacally focused on attachment for so many years now is really one of the best things is learning that so much of it is not for us to take personally. So much of what's happening in ourselves and in our partners is their old attachment patterns that happened from childhood that are getting kind of thrown on us as they get triggered in our relationships. And this is something that I found really, really so valuable to learn over and over again, in a way to build a capacity not to take things so personally, not to be so reactive, to sort of have a compassionate response when somebody's wound shows up and maybe they need jerk isolate or they need jerk flood with emotion and maybe become blaming or shaming or something, that we understand that that's coming from a place most likely heavily influenced from our history and not even nearly as much from what's happening in the relationship now. But then we have to know how to manage all that, because that can be a lot to sit and be present with and to be compassionate about. But this is something that I think is a big benefit. And when we really understand attachment injury that's behind a lot of what's getting reenacted in our adult relationships. And I find that very freeing and liberating. And I think that so many of my clients say the same thing.
Absolutely. Let's say, for example, and I think this is shown on one of the videos I'm going to present to everybody, one partner in the relationship grew up in a family where she said she was kind of invisible. Nobody listened to her. She felt invisible. And now she's an adult in a relationship and she feels invisible and unheard with her partner. And all of a sudden her partner makes a change and stops talking and looks in her eyes and says, I want to know what you're thinking and feeling. I'm listening to you. I want to know you. And she shares something. And we say to her, well, do you feel like your partner listened to you? And she says, for the first time, yes. Can you
Fantastic.
tell your partner, can you share with your partner what's that like? That's unbelievable. Because my background is nobody cares about me. Nobody listens to me, but you just did. How does it make you feel? It makes me feel like I want to trust you more. I want to open up to you more. I can be vulnerable with you because you care. So this is experiential. This is an experience of a change in the moment. It's worth $1 million. I'll tell you what, because it's not something, a fantasy for the future. It's not an old pattern from the past. It's a positive experience in the moment. They carry with them and they practice it. So that's an experiential change.
In the next video, we'll be looking at, again, how to deepen our practical skills around creating secure base and helping couples or individuals find secure base in the way that they communicate with each other or other people.